Perspective can change anything in an instant. So changing our perspective can improve our situation. And it's instant. Welcome to the little black couch. Everyone should be an entrepreneur. The chance to overcome obstacles, solve problems, make the world a better place, and dictate your life on your own terms is worth the risk. My name is Aaron Stewart, and I have been researching or living entrepreneurship for almost 30 years now. Welcome to the Little Black Couch, a journey in entrepreneurship.
Good morning. The happy the wake-up call from the car as we back out. 5:25 in the morning, headed to the office. One of those mornings I'm sure you've all had when the brain decides to wake up before the body is ready. And the brain has so many ideas and there's so much to do that you can't go back to sleep. So that's where we're at. We've got a conference today, a training with the 2 Comma Club coming up at 11 o'clock our time with Russell Brunson. So that should be exciting and looking forward to seeing what that's all about. But I had a thought come through my mind. It's not one that's, it's not uncommon for this to pass through, but it's this idea of perspective. And perspective is something that is fascinating because when we grasp the concept, it can change everything on what we're doing. And I remember one very difficult period when I had some issues with a partner from a previous business, over a decade ago. And we had done really well together, and we'd gotten along together, and then some things had happened, and this partner had made some promises to some others that I was unaware of. And anyway, it kind of unwound and got to a very dark place quickly, and I realized that the business was now at risk. And I panicked a little bit. I was a little freaked out. It was a dark place. And as I sat there thinking about it, wondering why and how we'd gotten to this place where it was so uncomfortable and so miserable, and really the only way out of this thing was just going to be a lot of difficult stuff that would probably ruin some friendships and change some things that were likely to never get fixed again. And I didn't like it. I didn't like being there. And my perspective was sort of a, woe is me. Why is this going on? Why would this happen to me? I'm a good person. Why does bad things happen to good people? And all those, the pity party started up. And as I was sitting there, the thought came to my mind that if this difficulty, if this thing I was going through was the lesson that I needed, if it was the moment of truth where I finally realized and saw my weaknesses and saw my future and understood what needed to happen, and that life was going to get so much better and it was going to be so wonderful from that point forward, how would I feel about this experience? And that changed everything, right? And so all of a sudden there was just this sort of brightness happened, and I realized, I don't have to look at it this way. There's nothing that says, even though this situation is what it is, if I take the short view and I push it out and I make it the long view and I say, okay, this that I'm going through right now is going to teach me what I need to do the next thing, And the next thing is going to be so great. I can't wait. I can't wait for that next thing. I can't wait to be that person and have that amount of wisdom and have that much understanding and have a clearer vision. I can't wait to be that person. And if I have to go through this to get there, then what does this become? It really becomes nothing. So in literally a couple seconds, my perspective went from this is the worst thing ever to I can't believe I'm going through this. That this is going to be so good. And it got very exciting. And when that excitement then sort of calmed down, I'd realized, wait a minute, I just changed my perspective. I just shifted my perspective out. And now all of a sudden, the situation I'm in is a stepping stone. It's not an end-all, be-all, right? It's always going. Everything we're going through, everything we face, it's all going to someplace else. There is a next thing. There is a new horizon. There is some kind of an innovation or something that's inside of us that is being worked on, that is being developed, that is being honed. And we are being prepared for whatever that is. And all of these things, these experiences, these difficulties, these ups and downs, they are the things that are preparing us to be ready for when that time comes. And then we just have to get into, will we do it? Will we take action? So when you think about where you're at, all of us, if we look at where we're at, if we're not happy with what's going on, can we change our perspective? Can we say to ourselves, you know what? This has to happen in order for that to happen. And if somebody told you, and this is kind of where you can prove it to yourself that this changing your perspective works. Because if you were told, hey, once you get on the other side of this difficult time, of this big thing, right? Once you get done with this, on the other side, your life will never have another problem, right? You will be the smartest person in the room forever. You will be the best father, the best mother, the best employee, the best boss, the best whoever, forever. And you knew that, right? If this situation was going to get you to that place of whoever you want to be, would it change the situation? And the answer is yes. It absolutely would. And it doesn't always have to be just for business. I remember Carol and I were living in a very difficult situation. We had a little home. It was in a neighborhood that wasn't... What's the best way to say this without being... We were in a neighborhood that wasn't fulfilling our needs. There was some challenges in the neighborhood. There was some people who were quite cruel to our children. Quite cruel to everybody around, basically on our entire street. And so it wasn't a good place to be. And we decided, okay, we can't be here. And we left. And so we were sitting there thinking, why in the world did we have to be here? Why in the world, this sucks. We don't like living here. Why do we have to be here? And this whole idea of perspective bounced back into my head. And we had our oldest son was getting ready to go out and be a missionary and things. And I just said to Carol, I said, but honey, what if what if we were told that we had to be here and we had to live through this? And if we did live through this, our son would go from here and go out and be a missionary and find great happiness in not only that experience, but that experience would prepare him for a much better, wonderful life but we had to be here in this neighborhood so he could have the experiences he had to get everything that he needed to get him on his way and get him out going. If we knew that we had to be here in order for him to have all that, would that change our perspective? And we both looked at each other and said, absolutely. We would do anything. We would live in a tent. We would do whatever it took. If you told us this is what you have to do in order for your child to be happy and move on and get everything that he needs out of life, what would you be willing to do? And the answer was pretty much anything. And not only would we be willing to do it, we would happily do it, no matter how difficult the task. And so that kind of got us through that last part of it, where we were really happy. We sold the house, we got to move away and do all that. But those last few months we were there were actually quite easy, because we changed our perspective. We looked at it a different way. We saw it as something where we were, helping our child achieve better things, and that changes everything. So in our lives, whenever we're looking around and we get to difficult times, what can we do to change our perspective? Push it forward, stick it out there, picture a better future for yourself, and frame whatever we're in, frame it to be the stepping stone to the next great thing, and change your perspective about what's going on. It's just preparation. It's just what needs to happen for the next great thing to occur. And that changes everything. So have a great day. It's a tough game. Entrepreneurship isn't easy. It's not for everybody. Although I believe everybody should try it, and everybody should be an entrepreneur and have their own business and have some autonomy and some freedom and a place to create and try and grow and expand. Entrepreneurship is such a beautiful opportunity to learn so much about ourselves and about the world and about what's next, about expanding our horizons, about pushing forward, about getting past the next obstacle. Entrepreneurship does so much that way, but it's not always easy. I get it. I've felt it. I've lived it. I'm there with you. But I am just amazed at anybody who takes this journey on and finds a better way, makes life better for those that come behind us, that provides shoulders for the next wave of entrepreneurs to stand upon and do even greater things. It's cool. It's cool to be a part of this. So thank you for joining me on the journey. Thank you for being entrepreneurs, the innovators, the creators, the dreamers. Go out and kill it today. Thanks.